We've got Ms. Cornea, Mrs. Johnson, Mr. McKee, Mr. Lamb, myself, Eric Walmsley, Mr. Cornea, Mr. Sabian, our Superintendent Lamborn. We have our tech specialist, Mr. Johnson, with us. We'll start off with some opening remarks by Mr. Sabian, and then Mr. Lamb will lead us in the pledge.
Our dear Father in heaven, we're grateful this night. We be here together as a board and as school employees, and we pray that this night we can do what's best for our kids in our school district, and that they'll all be blessed. We'll be blessed with safety, and our school will also well watch over it, protect it. And we're grateful for our community and the support we get here, and for all of our many blessings that bestows upon us. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, okay. So we had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting. Any questions? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve. Oh, yeah.
I don't know, I kind of, Jenny, on the comments that were made, I'm not sure between the gym and the new gym and the old gym. I wasn't arguing with the policy, I was just pointing out that it was very consistent. I've been in support of protecting the municipal researchers in the gym all along. But that kind of, to me, kind of read like I didn't support that, and that wasn't the idea I intended to give. I was just pointing out that that wasn't very consistent. Have a gym that's 30 years old, protect that, and then have one that's brand new and open wide open. That's all I was doing. So I don't know whether that needs, I don't know whether that needs changed or just leave it like it is, whatever. But I don't think it was what I was trying to express.
You want to open to the public?
Well, I just was pointing out the disparity between how we were treating the gym that's 30 years old and the one that we just barely built. I'm not saying I disagreed with what was done. I suppose that's the reason that gym is as nice as it is. But there's kind of a conflict between a brand new gym, the usage it's getting, and the one that's what we refer to as a new gym over the years. And I don't know how you fix it.
I can just take it out.
Where we were talking about the new gym.
There's 2 paragraphs before the motion.
Maybe we'll just leave it to alter or remove or.
I mean, I can live with it. I just didn't want
The perception to
the
be.
perception that I've been against it all along, because I haven't been. I just thought it was kind of almost amusing. The difference between it has nothing to do with sites, it's just that's just kind of the way that's always been handled.
Okay.
Well, I don't really know what I'm asking you to do, Jenny. I'm just making a point that was necessarily what I was trying to do. Comment was, maybe gave the wrong impression from what I thought I was saying.
Maybe just change it to, you feel like the policy should be consistent, whichever way we go.
Yeah, maybe just put that I pointed out a lack of consistency. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, anything else? I'd accept a motion with that change.
And I'll second it.
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Okay, Have a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Don't have any requests to speak. So I'll go into our action items. Superintendent staffing.
In your packet, I think there was a letter of resignation from Mrs. Pierce. So we'll need a motion to accept that resignation. And then Mr. Motto would like approval, to be in the process of finding a person to fill that position.
Okay. Someone care to,
I can make that motion, if there's discussion. I'll make that motion, that we accept the resignation.
okay, have a motion on the second. With that motion being that we let him advertise to fill that position. Okay,
Do we need to?
I don't think so.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
As an addition with staffing, yesterday, the committee made up of Mr. Lamb, myself, Lex Cornea, Cooper Cornea, and Weston Taylor met and interviewed 3 candidates that we've had for the football job. Following that committee interviews and discussion, the committee would like to submit the name of Tyson Larson as the candidate we recommend for head football job at Rich High School. I can field any questions, or Mr. Hyam can.
How many do we have? Three, you said. And who are the others? And I don't know what we can.
The 2 others are currently, well, one's currently an assistant at Weaver State. One has been an assistant at Black Hills State. Neither one have teaching credentials. Both of them are working towards that.
Their idea was just to come and coach and find a job
Or
here, and
they
while
will
they're getting their teaching.
they could work through the ARM program. Part of the alternative route to the licensure program is you get accepted in a program that then becomes effective once you have a teaching position. You can't go through the process. You can get accepted, but can't do it until you actually have a job. And you know, I explained before they came to the interview that currently we don't have. By spring we might, but we currently, because nothing was vacated with the last coaches leaving, but we don't have a teaching position.
Just a coaching position.
Just a coaching position. You know, and they didn't say that was a deal killer. The one did express he's looking other places. But even that aside, the committee felt like Mr. Larson would be the best fit for our position.
Yeah, it was unanimous, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? Not accept a motion to accept him as,
I'll make that motion to accept.
I'll second it.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any motion carries.
And then as per the rest of your packet, some discussion we'd like to have there, I think that would be best to put that at the end of the meeting and go into executive session.
Okay.
So that the public isn't sitting here waiting for us to have that discussion. Okay, because I don't see any motions being made out of that discussion, just some staffing issues we need to talk about.
Well, that sounds good. Okay, ratify policy 710.
And we didn't make any changes in that last month, so we adopted and asked for motion to ratify.
Any other discussion on that? Accept a motion to ratify policy 710.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then policy 510 ratified.
In the same
Same
scenario.
Any discussion on that one? If not, I accept the motion on that one.
So on the, in the packet, there's 510. Oh, Jesus, sorry, I didn't pull that. We have, is it the 612, is that next?
519, 612, we still don't have. Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
I'll
what,
explain that when we get to the next one.
yeah.
Oh, God, okay, so that one has nothing to do with. On the 510 one. I still noticing it's just a small. There's still 510.1.2.3.1, there's two of them.
People didn't know that last
Tiny discrepancy. But
Needs to be a 2.
yeah, just that second one just needs to be a 2.
All right.
Sorry about that. Okay. Well, I accept a motion to ratify that policy with that one change.
Tiny change. I'll make that motion to accept that with that one change, just do it 510.1.2.3.2.
Okay. I'll second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, policy 519.
And I'm hoping that this can kind of be just transposed into 612, with both sexual harassment.
Oh, I see.
But I've still got to talk to legal counsel on that. I sent this out about a week ago or so. It's very lengthy. Again, legal counsel put it together. The reason we asked them to do that is so we can make sure we're covered under Title IX if anybody asks for a Title IX investigation. So this is as it came back. I didn't make any changes after it came back from legal counsel, but we can certainly make changes if there's anything in there you would like to change. It gets pretty involved and long, but I think that's to help protect us.
Okay. So what do we need to do with that?
Just approve it. Just approve it. We can ratify next month.
Adopt.
Adopt, excuse me, adopt.
Okay. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we adopt that.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, information items, DEHP presentation. This sounds so exciting.
It's actually really exciting.
It is pretty exciting. And if you can make insurance exciting, you're pretty good. Jenny's gonna come as close to that as you'll ever come.
Only exciting when they deny claims.
Then you get excited, right?
Mhm. Even better than that.
Well, if you turn the floor over to me, I'll go through this in your packet.
Okay.
So before I went to the annual meeting at USBA, I had a meeting with our PEHP and our GBS associates together in Salt Lake. And we do this every year. I just don't always share the information, but this year I thought it was worth sharing. They talk a whole lot about enrollment, who's on Advantage, who's on Summit, and you can see it better on your screen than on paper anyway. But you can tell that a whole lot of our members are on the Advantage network, which is our IHC network. Summit's more of the University of Utah, that
Is this just
network.
our school?
This is just our school.
Okay.
So those are our member counts. So we have grown. They like to see members grow on our plans, so. We talked a lot about churn. It talks about new members, members coming off, and our churn is good, so. They like to see that. We talked about the age and the gender stratification. They like our age and gender, how it lays out pretty well. They have some groups where a lot of them are all male, and then it just doesn't look as well for them.
So we're about half and half. Is that
Yeah.
What I'm seeing there.
Yeah. So we do pretty well.
Good.
We do good. The next slide that we talk about is year-over-year change. And I cannot remember what PMPM means. But what they do is they take this inpatient facility, the professional, the pharmacy, and the outpatient, and they put it on a scale, and then they see if we're saving money or using more, so they can help educate us on maybe more of an outpatient facility procedure or stuff like that, stuff that they can help us, because that in turn helps them keep premiums low.
So they would just as soon as be taking some medicine home
Yeah,
or going to an outpatient facility.
correct. I cannot remember what PMPM means.
It's probably just a
Something per member, premium something per member,
paid.
paid, I don't know. Anyway. That's not as important as the final notes. So if you turn to the final notes,
Which is, oh, okay.
it's the very
Per
last.
member per month.
Per member per month. Okay,
Okay.
per member per month. In the final notes, it goes back over those slides. So it's talking about that first slide, and it says membership has grown and gotten younger, which they like to see that. There's less problems
We all.
in younger. And the member subscriber ratio has also gotten larger. So that means we're having more kids that are coming on, or dependents coming on to the plan. They talked about, we have, our outpatient levels have dropped and remained below benchmark. That's really good that we're keeping those low. We're over 50 subscribers. That's huge in the health insurance world. That means we're a large group. So that's really good for our rates. So we went over this, and we get a rebate for our performance and our longevity and our engagement. So you can see, going back to 2017, you can see those rebates. Total rebate, 11,772 in 2017, 7,862 in 2018. Our performance went down just a bit. They have formulas on how they get here, and then we jump back up in 2020 to 23,561. Some years they don't have rebates. It depends on how well the pool does. So you'll see that not every year has a rebate. Last year we were at 18,568. This year we were expected to get 65,851. That, she emailed me, and I put it in the notes right there. The revised amount is $80,040 in rebate. That is nearly 1 month's premium. So I thought that was to note.
That's pretty exciting.
I was pretty
As far
excited.
as insurance goes.
Yeah. They said that they don't have renewal rates yet, but we can expect to see something in the mid to high single digits. So I love anything under 2 digits. It's easy to budget for. It's a nice renewal. So
Yeah, that's good.
I was pretty excited. So that was our meeting.
Well, that's good news.
It is good news. I was excited. Anything else, Superintendent?
You did that again, I think the board many years ago made a real smart decision in switching over from the carrier that we've gone with, PHP, and the rates. You know, this year was expected to be the highest rate increase we've had. People remember back when we were double digit every year, and I teen some year.
Yeah, it was hard to get Fridays.
PHP's been good, and I don't work with them much, but Mrs. Johnson works with them a lot, and they seem to be very, very calm. So it's a good group, and we're pretty happy with them.
We
We're
are.
gonna probably have to bid it at some point, but
That's why we have GBS on as well. We don't pay anything to them. They make all their fees through brokerage. So that's all. We don't pay any of that. We also set up an online, when we did our insurance through that new portal. So I can do Cobra through that portal. It's very streamlined, and that's all through GBS. So we'll use that again for renewal.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. Yeah, thanks.
Welcome.
All right, UHSAA.
when I sent the agenda out, I didn't have anything, but since that time, the executive committee has met. You probably saw, might have seen it in the paper, but next year, the shot clock will be instituted into all classifications.
On that, I can't remember, so obviously we gotta figure that out with the high school. Is it each school's choice to do it for JV or freshman, or is it each region, each classification? I can't remember what it said now that but basically just deciding if we do it at the JV and the freshman level.
And,
I can't remember.
you know, my thinking on that would be, and I hope the region doesn't go against it, if we're gonna do it at the varsity level, we just do it.
Well, I guess my thoughts on that would be that if we do that, then we gotta equip this gym with it as well.
We gotta quit. I wonder. Both gyms, and we haven't done any pricing on that yet. I think we can do
That
that.
makes it, gosh, that makes it harder for score, like, whoever's on the score clock.
Well, it's gonna
have
take two.
someone.
It's just one person that's doing the shot clock. I know.
And the way, as I've talked to big boys, they're saying you'll have to have a separate clock operator.
Well, I think that's what's in the rules. It has to be a separate operator that they suggest to have them sitting by each other, which I'm like, why wouldn't you have them sitting by each other?
Yeah, but you over there.
Yeah, you can sit in the corner.
So, and it has to be on the backboard, huh?
Yeah.
Backboard has to be on the backboard.
And you have to have a backup ready in case the backboard goes out.
Of course you do. So it's, I think we'll probably make that one of our capital expenditures over the summer. So it doesn't have to come out of the rec budget per se. But it'll be some money. I think one of the other things, and again, I'm giving you my bias, which could be as dead wrong as anybody else's bias. I think it'll force 1A to go with 3-man crews, which again will be an added expense. But I'm kind of
officiating.
it's for officials. And as I've watched the last year or two, I think we need to go there anyway. And I was dead against 3-man crews when the other classifications went to it, saying no one way 1A needs 3-man crews.
Is 2A
added expense. Yeah.
Is 1A the only one that's
Only
only
one.
used to?
But what's happening is officials, 90% of their games are 3-man crews, and then they come to 1A and work 2-man crew. and they're just not. You'd say, well, that shouldn't matter, but it does. They're not in position. 3-man positioning is a total different thing.
Mhm.
And then they send you guys that are older who can work the 3-man, but you don't have to go baseline it. And then they come and try and work a 2-man crew and they're not there. So I think so it's gonna cost us the cost of shot clock and installation is gonna cost us another
Official
every game. And then if we do go 3-man, which DOT is strongly suggesting, then it's gonna cost us officials every game. So it's gonna be.
It will be at the other levels. Is it a 3-man crew at even freshman, JV and varsity, or is it only varsity 3-man crew?
I can't answer that for sure. I think it's just varsity, but I'm not sure of that.
I was thinking too. Imagine that 3-man crew probably, I mean, it requires more officials, but I imagine it also keeps the churn down because it's a lot easier to ref a 3-man crew than it's a 2-man.
And, again, I was dead against it when they went to it, saying we don't need it. The other thing that's been, and I don't know that it's a big deal, but we work with 2-man crews through the whole year and then go to state tournaments and they do 3-man crews. And you say, well, but it's a different, 3-man crews are different.
Catch more.
And the 2A people, that I've talked to say when they went to it, they thought there'd be more fouls called and more things. There's actually less because they're in better position and, they just don't guess as much. Now that's their feedback. I don't know if that's true or not true, but this,
So I wouldn't guess that there'd be more fouls.
Jerry says there's significantly fewer. So that's I bring it up, even though it went in your agenda, because it came out after I sent that out, but that's gonna be costly.
Where do most of our officials come from?
That's a good question.
Logan,
Most of them, and some are off.
So do we pay travel for them to get here? A certain amount per game plus travel, is that how that works?
And we strongly encourage the arbiter to send them so they can travel together. So that you pay one mileage and then one gets a riding fee. They don't get a mileage, but riding fee is significantly less. But we don't always get that, because sometimes they'll bring one out of Logan, one out of Ogden, and you pay 200. But we ask the arbiter and they try.
Who's the arbiter?
He's a UHSAA office. I don't know. What's his name? I can't think of it right now, but you just turn your schedule in at the first of the year and then they assign the officials. Now, I talked to a guy that's one of the better officials in the state. Said, what's this gonna do? And he just says, we need more officials. In the state, this is gonna impact us not a lot because money is not, but with the growth of the number of schools on the Wasatch Front, all that, he says, we need more officials. So, any of you want a second income?
Because
I'm not that hard. I like the referee. You never get it wrong.
You always have the right angle.
Okay. Bridgeland. I haven't had a meeting. I don't have anything to report there. Do you have anything, Superintendent? Okay.
Oh, I do. Sorry. The EMTs came to me and Lacey Morris is qualified to teach an EMT class. So the county is picking up the cost of the instructor, the cost of the materials, all that. But they asked if they could use our building, and I didn't get board approval. I said, yeah, use the building. I know it's community service. For sure, our county needs more EMTs, and it's just tough for them to go along. So they go out there and basically teaching the course in conjunction with show them. Anyway, they're teaching it, they limited numbers this first time to kind of make sure that they filled the numbers they wanted. And they're hoping to run it again after, maybe next year. So they had tried to do it a number of times through Bridgerland, and Wendy just didn't really want to get involved, and so Lacey was a little worried that Bridgerland see this and we aren't supporting, send them over there, but in my conversation, I think Bridgerland's fine with it, and the county's picking up all the expenses except the building. We're heating the building anyway. So, yeah. So other than the lights are on instead of off, there's really no cost to us.
Well, that's a neat thing, so.
Yeah, I don't, there's number one, there's not enough. And number two, some of those guys have been running for a long, long time. They're not getting any younger either.
No. Yeah, they've never been compensated either. Volunteers.
Yeah, they've spent a lot of hours.
Yep. Okay, no, I think that's great. Okay, USDA.
I'll just turn that to you, President, as much as you guys want to talk or not talk about that.
Comments on
That
the
was really good.
mention?
And I appreciate, last time, I appreciate you guys helping me out, all that, making sure that I was comfortable down there and knew where I was going, so I appreciate it. It was good to have that last.
Yeah, that's a good speaker. You made the comment at the end, you were there. It's hard to let your kids suffer. But you need to. I went out on his book and I told him, I said, you don't get any other message out when you talk to people. Make sure you get that. So he's when he signed my book, that's what he will. So. But he, you know, he explained, well, you gotta learn how to deal with pain and rejection and coming up short. You can't do it for them. You try, you're short. Well, that's what, but that really kind of get. It's really easy to jump in and try to save the kids every time they have a problem, and if you do, when they leave the nest, they're not ready to do it on their own. Never have to do that. I read his book, I got his book pretty quick. Interesting. It's got more in common with this. Calgary's always been strong. That's what he loves. I didn't think of that till I got the reading. Okay. Well, that's good. They had some good breakout sessions. No, they were excellent.
One of the things that I had in my notes on one of the breakout sessions that I wanted to ask you about was that they claimed, and maybe I misunderstood it, but they claimed that there was a change in Utah law that we have to post pending minutes as soon as possible after our meetings. Now, have you guys heard anything on that? Or maybe I misunderstood.
Like meetings that haven't been approved?
No, like the meetings from this minute, or the minutes from this meeting. We approve them next time, but the pending minutes are supposed to be posted and like noted as pending, but they're supposed to be posted as soon as possible.
We
I
can,
guess.
we can post the video and audio within 3 business days and that
Maybe
satisfies
that's what
that.
it was. Oh, got it. Okay.
Not the legal deal.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few things that they brought up. That was the one thing that. Like they talked about like making sure that the no votes were in closed meetings, and unless you're closing that closed meeting, you can't have any votes in that meeting. Which we follow that as far as I know.
I think the most entertaining breakout session every year was, but not so much.
Why is that?
I went to one of the entertainment.
Written verbiage. You get the message across, but you. Yeah, was always entertaining. I think he gives good information.
There was a lot of discussion on like pronouns and whatnot in that video.
I didn't attend that one. One I went to. The finance one was a little different, but still good.
Well, it's good to be together at those things. I think that does a lot of good.
And I missed you.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there.
Missed you. But it is.
Yeah, you missed Dale on a prize and wasn't there.
That's what I heard. First time in 20 years. I missed it from there. Missed it
Yeah, I didn't want to prize.
for a funeral.
Did you? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I wish I had been there. I enjoy those acts. Good to go be together.
It's kind of like Dale, like winning the lottery and leaving the ticket in your pants and you walk
If I ever bought a ticket, that's probably exactly what I
Well, transcript for the website.
I think I already covered that.
Okay, update on the gym floor.
I hope to have you figured by tonight, but I still don't have it. So Mr. Lemon's been working with a different floor company, the company we've always used before. Came up and spent some time looking at it, and feels like that we can get that floor in pretty good shape, and I hope to have you bid, but I don't. He had them up 2.5 weeks ago. Said we needed it by today, and he calls again today, and I just don't have it, so I apologize for that. But I think we're gonna get that, and he feels like we can have a good situation there, so.
that'll be summer, right?
Yeah. We're wanting to do it probably as early in the summer as we can. So we're gonna try and book them for late May, early June, and get it done. Humidity's a factor in this and that and other.
So is there any way we can?
The air was so dry. There's gotta be somewhere, humidifiers,
I've talked to Philip about that a couple of times, and we could do some little stuff. He says we just don't put commercial humidifiers in schools. We never have. I don't know anywhere that does. So we could look at that, but the architect is still saying. And I think that's part of the problem.
It's impossible.
No, it's not impossible. He's just saying it's, I guess I'm using the word if he didn't, but probably impractical.
If I'm using read it, because I think, and I'm obviously, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but in my mind, just it looks like that those heaters are just so over engineered. Is there any way that we can calm those down? Because I think that's part of the problem. I think that might be the problem. Those things kick on and it's like, oh, it's hot.
has had some of those same thoughts, Zach, and so we talked about shutting one down because we think one's probably big enough to do it. And maybe that would even save us some propane. Again, we talked to the mechanical engineer folks, and they say you're gonna use so many BTUs to heat that space. So if one's running twice as much or two running half as much, you're probably BTU wise the same, and except you're gonna heat it more evenly by having the two going. So that was their answer to that, because Rick was thinking somewhat the same thing. And as far as the over engineering, I wouldn't argue that at all. But now they're there, I don't know what to do.
Is there like, 'cause I feel like there's something wrong with the sensors or something, it gets super hot. It's hot.
I'll have to talk to Rick about that, because it's supposed to have that, so it never goes above a certain thing. Now, it will heat up quickly,
Yeah,
but it should never go above whatever he's got it set at.
well, I think wherever the sensors, it probably doesn't. But because it heats up so fast, that's where, I don't know, I almost argue that only having one might help that, because then it's just more gradual. But then again, it's not evenly heated up. I just wish that.
And that sensor's down at the south end. But we'll ask some more questions. Because Rick's wondered those things, and we talked to Philip. He talked to the mechanical engineer, and they came back with the whole, you run. You're gonna keep the temperature, it takes so many BTUs to do that.
Makes sense.
So you can run one twice as much or two half as much.
I just,
That's why did you put two in the first place?
I feel like what happens though is like it heats up a ton in the majority of that, and then it doesn't kick off that sensor until this part is already, because it heats up so fast, it's already way above that sensor. I wonder, I don't even know if there's data behind it, but I wonder if you were to see that sensor, would it can, even after it's kicked off, does that sensor still rise in temperature? Does it still, as that heat continues on throughout that room? So like on the end.
But there's one main heater that goes fairly close to it, that's south. Through there. There's a two at the north and the two at the south.
Is it possible another sensor would help?
Maybe what I can ask though, they could do, as part of getting the building turned over to us. We had to have a checks and balance inspector that came and checked those kind of things out, the flow, and was everything balancing properly? And maybe as part of a warranty deal, I'll call Philip and ask if we can have another check on the checks and balances. And maybe that would address, I'm not sure it'll, but at least we could address your questions without me guessing, because I don't have a clue.
And I have that same situation with my house. On the bedroom, it's quite a ways away from the thermostat. When the thermostat seems plenty warm. That one down there, the thermostat would come on, it would.
Maybe because it's in the center somewhere instead of one end.
I'm guessing their biggest concern was having enough heat.
Yeah.
And so they probably over-engineered it. So
I mean,
if it's a question of humidity, I would think it's too hot, the humidity drop.
Well, and again, and I don't know anything about mechanical. But see, those heaters both have heat pumps on them. So they're circulating hot air, so that theoretically, not during this time of year, but during a lot of the year, you don't have to, propane doesn't even kick on. The heat pump circulates. And again, I think that's one of the reasons they went with two, is to circulate that heat pump. But this time of year, when it's so cold that heat pumps aren't doing it, the propane is probably going real fast. And again, I don't know enough of that talk except a lot of the time, the heat pump should be doing the heating, but right now it's probably kicking the propane every time it does.
Does Delta have this exact same floor we do in their gym? That's where we went to look at the gym to start with before we ever did anything on that. They did the same, was it Delta? Well, not Delta.
Yeah, we went to Delta.
They had any problems at all?
No, they haven't had a problem. That I know of. I'll ask Dave, but I'm pretty sure they haven't.
He asked me how things was going, and I was like that night. I didn't pass on problems on it. This is a nice facility, that's all I said.
Well, Laura, maybe those sport people will have some suggestions too, if they deal with that a lot.
Yeah. And I can ask again on the humidifier. I've asked. So it just says, just keep that. I don't know. And right now is the worst time. That's one of the reasons they're saying do it spring, because that's probably good of humidity as we're gonna have.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but of course, the older gym over there, probably they don't probably worry about it yet. Or be no way to even test it.
Well, when Hogan brought up that it was a portable sensor that was testing our humidity, so you could put one in there, yeah. We haven't, but you could.
Probably not necessary, but it might be interesting to see if it's different. Cause then it would probably be something that was in the.
You could compare the two.
Yeah, in the building itself, construction or something, for the heaters or something, if there's a substantial difference.
Okay, I'll put one in the old one and the new one. Yeah, they compare.
Yeah. Okay. February board meeting.
That time that was on there.
The third Tuesday would be the 15th.
So actually, I'm just young enough here to hear about Valentine's Day, that would be a conflict for you. So I'm still gonna be recovering from Valentine's Day.
I'm actually out of town.
Oh,
Valentine's
no,
Day.
Jenny. Okay, well, you turn young enough. to-
That's my anniversary,
Oh, really? 15?
14th.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
married on Valentine's Day.
Wow, my folks were married on Valentine's.
So he doesn't forget.
I've been counting for 30
He forgets-
years.
he forgets
We're
both.
on the 12th.
Yes.
Double trouble.
Will you be back for the 15th?
I'll be back on the 17th.
Okay. We'd rather do it the next
22nd.
22nd.
That was just information for you that I won't be here. So if you guys would like to meet, I'm looking at my dear friend Tara.
I don't think we handled it tonight, so maybe we can handle it next
We
week.
gotta figure out the YouTube thing.
It says it's going, but
I
not
don't want you
sure.
to feel left out.
I would feel left out if you didn't. If you had it without me.
Kind of excited.
Finally get to miss a meeting, then they change the meeting so you can be there.
She's gonna be let out.
Yeah, we can't.
Oh, actually, I actually have a conflict on the 15th.
You do? So how does the 22nd work for me?
22nd would be better for me.
I think I'm good.
So you would have spoke up, I wouldn't have had to admit I would be gone.
Sorry. So my calendar. No, this conflict usually isn't. So. Okay, so the 22nd.
Yep.
Maybe you should do something on Valentine's Day. Maybe that'll help her out.
I don't think this shot, this shot would be good for my wife.
So February 22nd. Okay. All right,
And we need to go into closed session, right?
yep. Now I would accept the motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Yep, this says full card.
Okay, we've got this one going.
Okay. Okay, now we're ready.
All right, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, coming out of closed session, President and Mrs. Corning, Mrs. Johnson, Mr. McKee, Mr. Lamb, myself, Eric Walmsley, Mr. Corning, Mr. Savy, and Superintendent Lamborn.
He said, okay. He's on his way.
Now I would, if there's no further discussion, I'd accept the motion to.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Adjourned. Okay, Mr.